Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, and today we'll be checking out Eador Masters of the Broken World. This is a turn-based strategy role-playing game from Snowbird Games. It's similar to titles such as Heroes of Might and Magic, Age of Wonders, and Total War. Now here in this video, I will be showing you guys a bit of campaign gameplay, and hopefully giving you a general introduction to what Eador is all about. And the reason I say hopefully is because this is a very complex game, so much so that the developer has said you'll need a couple of 100 hours before you really know what's going on. Needless to say, I have not spent a couple of 100 hours. This game came out on Friday, but I've spent a fair amount of time and I have a general understanding, and I'm going to try to impart some of that information onto you guys here in this video. So as we get started here, we are presented with some text. There is a lot of text in this game, so I hope you like reading, and you're probably going to want to watch this video at 1080p and full screen for that reason as well. Basic little introduction to your character is that you started off as a humble peasant boy, and you followed in your father's footsteps, but you always knew you were bound for more, and this is where you get to choose if you want to be a fearless warrior, a skillful scout, a great commander, or a wise wizard. I myself, I would like to be a fearless warrior, so that will be my selection. How wonderful! And the day finally came where a teacher, Eador, came to the village seeking out, well, the exact person that you are, as it happens to be. So we're gonna go on and be introduced to our teacher here, Eador. This is the game's tutorial throughout the campaign. Well, apprentice, it's time to take your first journey. We're going to the town of Skull Coast, where we can buy everything we need for your training. Would you like to ask me anything? So you can RP this as much as you want. If you are really big into role-playing, you can have all these discussions. Why did you choose me? But what makes me so special? Powerful? Great. And then you can just say, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. So let me just quickly cover the layers within this game. There are essentially 3 layers. This game is broken up into the astral, which is sort of the world overview, where you take a look at all of the different world shards, and then the individual world shards, which are presented in a strategic map with provinces, which is what we're actually looking at right here, and then there is the tactical map where the combat takes place. So we're currently looking at the mid-tier of gameplay, which is the strategic map, and all these little yellow highlighted areas, these are basically individual provinces that all have their own inhabitants and their own towns and things of that nature. So we're starting off here with our main character, the hero. We will click on him and then tell him to go to the neighboring town of Skull Coast, and then we will end our turn. This then moves the character over to that neighboring town, and at this point we are here to purchase some items. So our good mentor here gave us 200 gold pieces with which to purchase said items, and let's go ahead and do that. Now we mouse over our character portrait and go to visit stores. This game is so complex, I don't... Okay, all right, so starting off, we're gonna make some purchases here at the store within this town of Skull Coast. I'm gonna grab myself, let's take a look at these weapons. Attack +3, looks like that's probably gonna be my best choice here, so we will grab that and put that over there. And then we can grab a shield, that's got 30 durability and 1 defense. This has got 20 durability, yes, we will grab that as well. I've got the money, might as well spend it. Bring that over there, and then we've got some armors, and it looks like the heavy armor, the chest piece here, will be my optimal choice. And there you go. I suppose we could just go with that. Now, do we have a ranged? There's a knife. I don't think any of those. Yeah, those would all go in that other slot. So it doesn't look like I've got access to a ranged item here. So yeah, I don't think that's something that is in my repertoire, if you will. So that is that. And then we have made the purchases we need to purchase, and we can move on. Before we do though, let me just show you here quickly. We've got our character information panel, and this is going to show you some basic information. This is a warrior, he is a weapon master, and let's take a look at some of his stats, such as hit points, speed, defense, ranged attack, range defense, attack, stamina, morale, counterattack, resistance, I mean, there's a lot to take in here. Mobility, initiative, siege, command, health, and magic. Yes, that is, I believe, all of them when it comes to the basic character stats and information. You can also view our character's portrait. These are his current hit points. And then over here, we've got some experience earned as well for the level up system. So Yes, there is going to be a lot for me to talk about in this video, and I will try to be sure that I'm covering everything. I don't really know if it's going to end up working out that way. Now that we have made our purchases in the store, we are presented with some combat, our first challenge. And again, you can hop right into the adventure, or if you're really interested in learning more and reading more, you can go, all right, I just hope these goblins don't finish me off. There's a whole bunch of them. And then he says that he trusts me, and then I say, okay, I trust you. Great, awesome. Now, the next thing that we'll be presented with within this province, beyond visiting stores, we can also visit locations, and you can basically scout out individual provinces to visit various locations, and these will essentially just be randomized combat events, but there's also a bit of information surrounding them as well. So we're going to select to enter the ancient ruins where the goblins are located, and before we do, we are given this little screen of information. It's going to tell us our hero force has approached deserted ruins of the city of ancients. Now, often an ancient artifact or treasures hidden by the current occupants of the ruins can be found in such places. Scouting has revealed that the ancient ruins are not as deserted as they may have appeared at first glance. Number of enemies, 3. Enemy type, goblins. What are your order? What is your order, Master? Now, as you can see, it gives you a general understanding of the power difference between your army and the opposing army, and it says the enemy is doomed, leading us to believe that this is going to be a fairly easy fight, so we should not retreat. Let's go ahead and attack. So into the fray we go, and this is going to be introducing you guys to the next level of the 3 layers in this game. Remember, there's the astral world overview, the strategic map with the provinces, which that's where we just were, and this is now the tactical map, and this is where the turn-based combat comes into play. Now at the very start, you get to sort of select your troop deployment, in fact deciding where you want troops to be placed before the battle begins, and then once you have put them in a proper order, you just click end turn, and then the combat begins. Now clearly here we're starting off with just the Master, my main character. In the future we'll have an army that we will be able to position in places that we want as well. And then we just take turns moving. Turn-based combat, as you guys expect. I feel like I've done a lot of turn-based combat recently. In fact, the last video I did was a turn-based combat game. I'm not trying to ruin anyone's day for the people who don't like turn-based combat. It just happens that these are the games that I'm covering at the moment. Okay, so there they went. Each of the goblins moved. I will then be able to move up close to. You can see my guy's got a very short move range. However, once he gets within melee range, he is going to do a lot of damage. Pretty much an instant kill here to the goblin. Now, if you attack an enemy and you don't kill them right away, they will counterattack you. So what's going to happen here now is that we're going to end our turn, and we can do it by clicking on it, or I can just hit E, which I prefer to do. The goblin hits me. He obviously won't kill me on one hit, so then I counterattack, and he dies. Oh, how glorious indeed. And then we're going to have to wait a couple of turns here, it looks like, because that goblin decided to retreat at first. All right, here we go. So he hits me, and then I counterattack. And actually just, wow, didn't end up killing him on the first hit, surprisingly enough. But there you go, that is the end of it. And here is a little synopsis of the battle. Again, it is just my one character. When you have multiple characters, any of them that die will be displayed with a little skull over their face, just like the goblins who died here. And then you also get a bit of information in terms of what you received from that battle. So I got 23 coin and 7 of these little mineral resources here. And then sometimes you'll get items that you can equip your characters with and such and so forth. So that is our first battle. Wonderful. The goblins are done with. What good news. Now, our next order of business is to hire some troops. So we will be going into town now, and instead of visiting stores, we will be hiring troops. So we will do that, and here is the garrison, and there are different layers of troops here within the garrison, and then purchasable, and then this is my army. So at the moment, I have access to the first tier with 3, and we've got a few options. We can get militiamen or a slinger. I will probably get 1 militiaman, and then a bunch of slingers. I kind of prefer the range guys, especially for these weaker units, so that's why I'm deciding to get 2 of those here. And then there we go, that is my army. I've made my purchases. My army is hired, so we can go back, and now we've got another task to kill a couple of orcs. But isn't that the guard's job? Fine, I'll kill some orcs. Okay, so then we're gonna be going back into the visit locations. And this time, oh, end turn. There we go. All right, the enemy stands no chance. The hero force has approached a half-destroyed ancient tower. The inhabitants of the old citadel have noticed him and are preparing for battle. Number of enemies 3. They are orcs. We will attack. All right, here we go. Troop deployment. Now remember, last time it was just my one character. This time I've got other characters to move as well. So here we go. Initiative determines who moves first in combat. If your hero's initiative is higher than the enemy's initiative, you will move first. If the two sides' initiative are equal, the attacker moves first. Special skills and certain items can modify a hero's initiative. A hero who moves second has the advantage of seeing the enemy placement during his deployment phase. So I move first because my initiative is higher. And I guess we'll just keep him here. Oops, sorry. And I would like to move the slinger, one right here, and then we'll put my other melee guy right there, and that looks good. So let's go ahead and engage in combat. And the orcs have decided to go pretty much at the opposite end of where I am right now. It is the move phase, so I will move these guys into position. And the different elements of this landscape do play a role as well. Let's take a look at some information here. The selected unit can strike enemies from a distance. Okay, so he was just talking about my ranged characters that can shoot from a distance, which I knew that, and you guys clearly knew that as well. The ranged characters can in fact strike from a distance, yes indeed. So this game's turn-based strategy, it sort of feels like a chess match, you know, in terms of the, I don't know, in terms of the way the characters move and all that jazz. Okay, so we can skip from character to character. If I don't want him to move any more forward, I can just hit N, which will bring me to my other characters. And from his position, he can strike, so I will do that very thing. And these guys, this guy right here can strike from his position as well. And then because I don't want to move him any closer, because I don't want him, I almost prefer that he gets hit first. Or rather that he gets the first hit. So I'm going to keep him at bay until he's within range to be able to just walk up to someone and take them out. All right, so this guy will kill, that guy may kill. Let's go for the may kill, actually. And we will do it from this position here. And then before I move him, I just want to take a look at how this ends up. So, okay, so that ended up working out. And then we will move up here for 2 to 4 damage. And I'd like to see what he does before I engage with this guy. Okay, he's at 3, so let's go ahead. Hopefully we get a kill with this. Nope, that is not a kill, so we'll get our final shot with this ranged guy for the kill. And then that is the end of our turn. And of course the orcs have met their demise here. Yeah, he's in trouble. 4 damage, that's it. Finish him off, please. Thank you very much. Alright, so there you go. A little recap of the combat. The enemy team obviously demised, and our character, our hero force, is leveled up. In doing so, we get to choose one point that we want to increase, whether it be a weapons master increase, a constitution, or an armor master. Let's go for weapons master plus attack plus counter attack. We got some gold as well as some minerals there as well. And that is that. A glorious battle, Force. Congratulations on your victory. Now to be prepared, you must learn some spells. So it is now time to learn some spells. Let's go into the study spells section, slowly making our way through all of the different options here. And we've got a few spells which we can grab. We basically just want to take each one of these. We've got Raise Skeleton, Magic Arrow, and Cure Wounds. Raise Skeleton will take a corpse of an enemy character and turn it into a skeleton to fight for us. Magic Arrow summons a Magic Arrow that does damage, as you would expect. And then Cure Wounds, well, that cures wounds, replenishes the hit points of the target by 7 points. And, effect increases with the caster's spell power as well. And there you go, we are all set with that. Those are our spells. Time has come for a real test of your skills. There's an ancient Forsaken Crypt, so as you can see, every time we acquire one of our new capabilities, whether it be purchasing gear, hiring militiamen, or getting spells, we are brought then straight back into combat here. And this time, it is against the Ancient Crypt. This will be 4 enemies, skeletons and zombies. I will easily defeat this enemy. Absolutely, I will then attack. Alright, so as you can see, characters' hit points are carrying over from one fight to the other. This guy's still only at 14 hit points. So we might want to start him off with a heal, we'll have to see. And there's the enemy team. Wonderful. Let me see here. I could start off with a heal right away. I will wait though. So during combat, it's important to remember that your unit's attributes such as attack, defense, resistant values, details on the selected unit are displayed at the bottom right panel. Right-click on any unit to view more information about it. So you can go ahead and get some more information about your character there by just clicking on it to get sort of his stats and how he's going to do against an upcoming enemy who might have counter stats to that. And there's also skills and properties, active effects. I mean, there's really a whole lot of information you can get about all your individual characters. Okay, we'll move him forward, just the one though, and then we will pass the turn over. And can I hit anyone from here? No, I cannot. Let me move one space to see if I can hit anyone from here. No, I cannot. So we will move him once more, and then that is that. I will move him here. No hit is available. I'm going to keep him in that spot, and we will end the turn. Okay. So in this combat, fighting skeletons and zombies, skeletons have few hit points, but their range defense is high, so it's best to kill them with magic or in melee combat. On the other hand, the slow but fairly powerful zombies are a perfect target for your missile units, so that's important to keep in mind. End the turn. So zombies will be my target for the range guys, and the skeletons will be best suited for my melee or my magic. Speaking of magic, why don't we give that a shot? I'm going to bring up our spell book here, cast spell, and then we pick our spells, raise skeleton, magic arrow, or cure wounds. Let's go ahead and raise magic arrow, and we'll grab that skeleton. Let's grab this one right here. Boom! Magic arrow from the heavens takes him out. And then this guy, we're actually going to keep him in place where he is right now. And I will go for a couple hits against these zombies, and then we will end the turn because I don't want to move him any forward. You can see those zombies are only moving one slot per turn, so he's now going to be able to get the first hit, which was sort of my my primary goal there. And let's go ahead and take out the skelly here, and then we will go first hit on that. And then we can see if we can finish him off with the slinger. It might be, yes, there we go, perfect. And now the zombie will get one hit against my militiaman. Oh no, he's moving for the archer. Oh no, he did move for the militiaman. And that is that, killed him just like that. Lost my friend, that's sad, huh? All right, let's move him. Okay, I kind of need to move him back because he will be within melee range next turn, which I don't want him to get hit, so we're gonna just move him back, hit with that guy from a range. Zombie can only move one per turn. He hits me. I return with mighty powerful hit and then the killing blow. Ta-da! Victory. We ended up losing our militiamen. You see, what did I tell you? I hate those guys. The melee guys early on, they're so weak. All right, so we got another level up here. We can choose again. Do we want to go weapon master, armor, or willpower? This will be weapon. We also picked up a troll's club. Very nice. Wonderful. Okay, so have you laid the dead to rest? Great. Now you are ready for a real trial. Time to head to my castle. Your castle, I mean. The castle's across the sea. We will need a ship to get there. To the north in the province of Brigade Shore, there's a good shipyard. So we're going to want to go to the north here to Brigade Shore and then take the ship across to our castle. How exciting. So we'll click on him, tell him to go over here, and the turn. And uh-oh, immediately presented with a random event. Now there are 4 enemies. I will defeat this enemy. They are Brigade, Thieves, and Bowmen. Brigand. Let's go ahead and attack them. So obviously you guys have been introduced to the combat elements of this game. I think you guys have a fair idea of how that whole system works. And their initiative is higher, so I get to see them. I want to pull back with these archers, though. I just want to keep them at a distance and safe from these guys here. And then let's go ahead and end the turn. So the combat, I think you guys understand by now. Now, obviously, at the early stage of the game, you've just seen me purchase these basic units. You're going to be able to get all sorts of crazy monsters or whatever, dragons and stuff like that, and elementals. And it's not just going to be hiring militiamen. They really go sort of the heavy fantasy route, if you will. Now, terrain plays a big role in combat, and this is something that I did want you guys to see as well. It is essential to make a good use of terrain features in combat. For instance, when in forest, the unit's range defense is increased. On hills, their range defense and counterattack are increased. In swamps, their defense and counterattack are lowered. Impassable terrain is good for hiding archers behind. So all that information, obviously very vital to how you're going to engage the enemy. All right, we're going to go for a hit here with this guy. And then he can do 0 to 2 damage as well. And then we end the turn. And you know, for that archer, I may actually respond with a magic attack, to be honest with you. Oh, I think he's gonna try to go straight for my. I think he's gonna try to go for my archer. So forget you, buddy. He get 1 to 3, 3 to 5. This guy's a crazy rogue, which can do a lot of damage. So we're gonna take care of him just like that. And that darn archer. Is he gonna try to ping off my range guys? Yeah, he's going for it. Let me see if we can cast. Let's do our magic arrow on the bowman. I just don't want him hitting my archers anymore, you know? And we will pull this guy back 1 and then go for an attack. And then we will also bring this guy right here, and then he will go for an attack as well. So it is starting off quite simplistic, but you will get, as you progress through the game, you'll get more complex characters with all sorts of different abilities and things like that. These basic guys just have basic attacks with not a lot of abilities. And they will level up as well, and I can choose, hey, the number of shots a unit can take, or increase some stamina for the unit's energy. I will go for the ammo +1, and we get an upgrade for both of those guys. All right, wonderful. So now, what you just saw was basically... It was an invasion, if you will. I was invading into this province, and those guys were basically defending their land. Now that I have taken this over, I have become the landowner and granted access to the income from the land and any services that it may have as well. This is a big part of this game. You are seeing everything on the one introductory shard. The general premise of this game is that you're playing as a demigod, also known as the Master. It's, again, Eador Masters of the Broken World. And your goal is to challenge other masters of other world shards. So we are currently on a world shard, and then there are additional world shards within this game that are just sort of floating around space, and you are trying to attack them and take them over. Now, you just saw me do that to a province, but that's the general principle of how this game is going to work. When we eventually pull out to the overview astral map, you will pick other shards and you will invade them, trying to take them over. And I believe there's also a diplomacy aspect to this game as well, where you can try to, I guess, sort of barter or bargain with other masters. But the ultimate goal is to take over all of the world shards so that you can combine them into your one huge realm, essentially. All right, so there we go. And now we can travel across the sea here to our castle. And this castle management is another major part of this game. Your castle within this realm is where you're going to be able to do a bunch of stuff. In fact, here you go, that information. The castle is your stronghold, the base of all your endeavors. Here you will be able to train units, forge weapons, study magic, but first you have to construct the necessary buildings, and construction costs money. So he's going to give me 500 golds and some gems. These are my this is a housewarming allowance, and now we will go into town here and start building up our castle. So this is some of our management. To begin construction, we must go to the construction window now. There we go. Right down over here. Okay, so here is our town, our castle. All these different parts of it. Since we are in the construction window, this is where we can start building some things. And there's a lot. Notice how we're on the military quarter right now, and we're in the first level. There's 4 levels for each one of these. And it goes all the way around. We've got all these different, so this is all stuff that we can construct, and there's multiple levels for every single one of them. In fact, these right down here as well, we don't have access to them at the moment, but there's a forest quarter, a foreign quarter, as well as a central quarter. So all of this construction here as we sort of build up our town. Now the initial goal here is to they're split, yes, I know. Buildings in the stronghold are split into quarters based on their purpose. You are now in the military quarter, whose buildings access units to the province to guards. You can switch to another quarter using the wheel with your icons at the bottom left, right. Okay, so our goal here is to construct a building, and we are looking for the recruitment station. So we will click on that and construct. All right, congratulations, you have constructed your first building. You will be able to build something else in your stronghold on your next turn. It's time to leave the walls and look around, and leave the castle. Click on the back to go back. So we just started off with this basic construction here of the recruiting station, which allows us to recruit units, first rank militiamen. And there are all these additional ones. We can do one for a slinger school. There's one over here for a spearman school. And again, that's just the first tier, the first level, beyond all these other things. And that construction, I don't know if you noticed, but it literally physically constructed a building. So as we construct other buildings, that will be represented here as well. So town management, another aspect of this game. It's pretty cool. This is a very interesting game. It's not necessarily the type of game that I would typically play, simply because it requires such a huge time investment to really progress through it, but I still find it interesting, and I think this is definitely going to be a game that people who are interested in the series like Might and Magic and Age of Wonders and Total War, something that they might also like as well. Now, just as a quick recap here, once again, you're playing as this master trying to take over these various shards, of which we are just on one of them right now. And I'm actually just quickly going to pull back here because in terms of the gameplay, that's basically primarily the things that I wanted to show you. So we'll be quitting to the main menu right now. And just to give you guys a quick view of sort of what I'm talking about here. Now, beyond the main campaign, you can also set up a custom game or a multiplayer, but if you notice all these different shards, you're able to pull out to the shard view and then basically select each one of them that you want to invade, and then you take them over, and you sort of go from province to province like you saw me do in the combat back there. So this game is currently available on Steam for $19.99, that is $20 US basically. If that's something you're interested in, I guess I would suggest giving it a look. I don't think it's bad. It's just not necessarily a game that I'm terribly interested in, but hopefully, nevertheless, I have given you guys a basic overview of what Eador Masters of the Broken World is all about to help you decide if it is something that you are interested in. Alright guys, that's going to do it here. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this has been Force checking out Eador Masters of the Broken World. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.